Yeah, so she like says it like right there.
That there's. She says it right there. Let me listen to that one more time. Yo, what's up? Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. What's up?
Okay. What's up, dude?
How you doing, Bowblax?
I'm doing pretty good. So, you were reacting to a tweet where I was quote tweeting a clip from Memology where you called one of your viewers a inbred dipshit fuckhead for saying that you need a computer and home internet to watch Twitch. And to me, it's just kind of mind-blowing that you would defend this girl to that extent to where you would call your viewers that when what he said wasn't necessarily untrue.
So I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think my general... Firstly, I call my viewers all sorts of shit, okay? Secondly,
okay.
I think it's safe to assume, I think the general argument we're making is that people that sit and watch, like, streams on Twitch all day are probably doing better socioeconomically on average than, like, the average American is. Like, if you've got time to sit and watch Twitch streams, if you've played video games growing up, you're probably doing a little bit better than the average person. I don't think that's that disagreeable of a statement. I think someone in chat was saying, what if you don't own your computer or pay for internet? Like, what if you go to like a library and watch Twitch streams? Which I don't think is the average use case scenario. So I think I call that guy an inbred dipshit fuck stick or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he said library specifically. I know that when you were reacting to his comment, he said no home internet or computer, which a lot of people, especially poor people who watch Twitch and YouTube, can watch it without a home internet or computer.
Do you think this is the average Twitch viewer? Is somebody that can't afford a computer?
I don't think it's the vast majority, but I think it's like a big part of the Twitch and YouTube viewer base.
Put a percentage on it. When you say a big part, you mean like 60%? Or do you mean like 5%?
I mean like maybe like 30%. It's obviously just a guess.
Yeah, sure. So just so we can be clear, if I were to take 10 random Twitch viewers, you think 3 of those viewers can't afford home internet and don't have their own computer? You really think that's true?
Maybe a little less. I mean, 10 is a very small pool, but if you'd say
okay,
like
if 10, I took 100,
maybe a couple thousand, yeah.
Okay, that's astounding to me that you would believe that.
Well, I believe that based on the how many people watch YouTube and Twitch on mobile.
Okay, if you're but if you're on mobile, wouldn't that put, first of all, I don't know if that's the majority of people. I have to go and check my analytics.
It is for YouTube. I'm not sure about Twitch, but I would assume it would be similar.
Okay.
For YouTube, the vast majority, like I would say like 80% is mobile.
Is that unique to your audience, or?
No, that's just in general. Maybe 80% is a little bit of stretching, maybe like 70%. But yeah, vast majority of viewers on YouTube is mobile.
Okay, even if that was true, wouldn't those people be doing probably even better if they have a cell phone that is like capable of watching streams and they've got like the money to pay for the data to support it?
Okay, well, let's put it this way. So if you don't have a computer and you only have a phone and you can't afford internet, it would be cheaper and more effective for that poor person to get a cheap phone and a cheap data plan and use it sparingly, or just use it like there's unlimited plans and stuff. That would be cheaper overall than buying a computer and
but if you get
internet.
if you get a cheap phone, I'm sorry, not a cheap phone. If you get a cheap plan, then you're going to be paying per gigabyte for data. Have you ever had a data plan before that's not unlimited?
Yes, but a lot of plans are, unlimited or a decent amount of gigabytes, like, 10 or more gigabytes per month. And you can watch Twitch without using a lot of gigabytes of data. You can watch it like audio, and that's what a lot of people actually do. Like they listen to Twitch streams. They especially Twitch
so you keep saying these numbers like a lot, and I just don't.
Yes.
It feels very weaselly. So my rough understanding is if you have a 10 gigabyte plan, that's like 10 hours of video. That's a month. Okay, I don't know. So I've been
but you could stream it at like 122p and then just listen to it.
Yeah, but how many people are just... Okay, so you're telling me that of these 10,000 people, 3,000 of them are on mobile because they can't afford internet, but they have a 10 gigabyte plan, but they only listen on audio only? Do you realize that you're talking about a very, very, very small portion of the internet. And even if you did cut that down to like whatever 160 or whatever the data rate needs to be for the audio, that's still maybe going to be like 50 hours a month. So this is like maybe an hour and a half a day, I guess, which is about the average listen time of Twitch. But you're selecting for like a very, very low population. Also, I'd be curious what your numbers are. I don't know. So I just like checked mine real quick. It looks like of my viewership on YouTube, like 80% is computer, like 14.8% is mobile. The idea that like I don't know if maybe for different streamers it's different, but the idea that
I could check my stats. I don't know exactly what page I need to go to.
Sure. Going back and looking over the past year, on my stats, 20% are mobile users, 76% are computer users, so that's a little bit more. I bet that 60% number probably comes from music. That's probably true. So people that use like YouTube, like music or whatever, like I have that app on my phone. So if that counts for hits, then I could see it being mobile, sure. Although I don't really think that's the type of content that we do. But
well, we're doing podcast type content right now. I'm sure a lot of people are just listening audio right now.
On my stream, I'd say my guess would be like 95% are watching video. The amount of people that listen, probably more like 97, 98%. The amount of people that do audio only is pretty low. Some people will only listen to the audio and they'll play the video in the background while they're working or something. But like in terms of literally having the data turned on to audio only. So wait, do you seriously believe that of all the people that watch Twitch, they're doing about as socioeconomically as well as like the average American worker?
I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of different people who watch Twitch. I'm
just talking averages. Do you understand when I say an average?
Yes.
Do you understand what that means? So
Yes.
like, there's probably people out there that watch Twitch that are literally homeless and just have a tablet and are on like city Wi-Fi. I'm sure those people exist. But those are very, very, very low percentage of people. So I'm saying, like,
I would say that
on
would
average,
be low, but
on average.
yeah, but if you're homeless, you wouldn't really have a phone. But you can be like, you realize there's a difference between being homeless and then being wealthy enough to like sub to multiple Twitch streamers and all these other things consistently, right? There's like a middle ground to where someone would have a budget for their entertainment, and that budget can't really afford the Twitch sub because they already have so much in their budget,
so I can kind of believe that, sure. But like if there is a streamer that you watch, like say like 3 or 4 hours, like every time they stream, maybe like 20, 25 days a month, I don't think it's super unreasonable. Like, hey, if you enjoy this content, you should probably sub for it. I don't think that's a super unreasonable position to take, no?
If they're watching that consistently, maybe. I mean, if they can afford it, you don't really get much out of a sub. It's like a donation. So if you really like can't afford it and you're only like using your budget towards stuff that's actual services like Netflix or what have you, you might not want to extend that to a Twitch sub. But I would say if you're watching like a particular Twitch streamer a lot and that's your main Twitch streamer, most people would probably be sub. But the issue comes in when you watch like someone as your secondary Twitch streamer, or your third or your fourth or your fifth, it kind of adds up and you can't sub to every Twitch streamer.
Sure, of course. If you watch like 30 Twitch streamers, not everybody can afford $150 a month for a sub. However, you do get some things for a sub, right? You get a little icon in chat and you got emotes that you can use across the platform. Yes. Now, that's not much, I agree, but on your own Twitter, you tell people to get YouTube Red and YouTube Premium. You get nothing for these, right? I know because I have YouTube Red, but you get nothing for it. The only thing you get is you don't have to install an ad block, which a lot of people use anyway.
Yeah, but you also, I feel like the main incentive to sub on Twitch or get YouTube Red or etc. is to support the creator, and getting YouTube Premium supports the creator a lot. It bypasses demonetization. It gets a lot of, you get a lot of revenue per premium hit, like 4 times, 5 times the amount as a normal viewer. So you're supporting every single YouTuber you watch, whereas if you sub on Twitch, you're only supporting that one streamer. So I would say it's a better investment. But I mean, again, those people that should probably, if they can't afford it, shouldn't use YouTube Premium either.
Sure, but the thing is, I don't think anybody disagrees with that, right? Like, if you literally can't afford it, then you probably shouldn't. The idea comes from, like, if you're watching a creator for 4 hours a day or some shit, and you don't have... and you say like you don't have the money to pay like $5 a month, that's probably not true. The reality is you either don't want to for whatever reason, or you are or you don't want to figure out how to do it, or for whatever reason you don't want to, right? Something else is keeping you from doing it. But the idea that like there are so many people that watch so many hours of stream they can't afford $5 a month is probably not true, right? I think that's the only point.
Yeah, but what if there's someone who's watching for like 2 hours or whatever and they can't afford a stream or a sub?
I imagine most people, the girl the girl included, would probably say like, oh, like I'm pretty sure that in like a minute earlier in her stream there was some guy that was like a 19-year-old college kid. It was like, oh, like I go to college, I'm broke, I can't really afford anything. And she's like, oh yeah, well of course if you can't afford it then you shouldn't sub. Like I think most people would agree with that. That's not a very hot take, right? Like if you
No,
literally
I mean,
can't afford it, but
her response was like something along the lines of, yeah, yeah, like very condescending. Like she expects people to sub when they watch her. That was the impression I got from her rant.
have you watched more than like the 2-minute clip that's been posted like a
Yeah.
million times on the internet? Like, do
I
you
watched
honestly?
the first 30 minutes of her stream where she was ranting about it, then she went on to something else and I stopped, but
Do you really think that if you were to talk to this person or any person on Twitch or YouTube and you're like, hey, let's say somebody's watching your stream and they literally have no extra money a month to do anything, do you think they should still sub you? Do you think those people would say yes?
well, it feels like they feel like people are entitled to sub to them. That's kind of the vibe I get from her. Like, oh, if you're watching me, you should sub, and if you don't sub, then you're just being lazy. But some people are just watching, enjoying the stream, and they can't afford to sub, or it wouldn't be financially smart for them to sub because they've been subbed to other people, or they are doing Patreon or something, and they just don't.
Do you think every single person that does like a CTA, like a call to action for subs, feels entitled to sub? Like, or entitled to subscription?
I feel like if you're having a call to action to sub, they feel like they're not getting enough subs, and it comes across as like they think that people are like freeloading.
Well, I mean, you are freeloading, right? By definition.
You're freeloading for watching a free Twitch stream.
Sure, you're freeloading. Yeah. I mean, the stream isn't free, right? Like, it costs money to broadcast from the streamer's point of view. It costs money for Twitch to run the CDN, to deliver the stream. It costs money for Twitch to pay the engineers and everybody for upkeep. So it is freeloading, right? You agree with that?
Not necessarily. I mean, I see doing YouTube and doing Twitch as a hobby, and if you can make revenue off of it, whether it be through ad revenue or people
how is it
donating, that's great.
If you watch a stream and you're ad blocking, how is that not freeloading by definition?
Well, if you're ad blocking, yeah, but you can not use ad block and then not sub. We're talking about subs, not ad block. If someone is using ad block, I would say that would probably be freeloading to an extent.
Sure. Okay, cool. So you've been I don't know how long you've been in this industry, but ad block rates among like tech parts of the internet can get anywhere as high as like 70 to 85%. It's very, 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 very high. So the average Twitch streamer definitely ad blocks. So I'm curious. So in your point of view, if somebody is watching a stream, like we'll say 1 hour a day, they watch a stream and they don't sub or they don't have Twitch Turbo or anything, and they ad block, would you say that viewer is a freeloader?
Yeah, I would say that. But the thing is, she wasn't arguing ad block. She wasn't being like, you know what, you should turn off ad block or whatever. If she was doing that, I would be more like sympathetic to her, argument. But she's talking about a sub.
Sure, that's because, I mean, like, there's no point in talking...
You're denying money to the creator, but it's not coming out of your own pocket.
Sure. I mean, like, you never talk about ad block as a creator because nobody will ever turn off their ad block, right? Like, that's just not realistic to even make that request. Like, people don't even tell people to whitelist them anymore. That's why a lot of sites on the internet have gone, like, pay to view, right? I don't know how much you follow media, but if you follow, like, any mainstream media website now, you can't read more than, like, 1 or 2 articles a month without subscribing on the website because they have to charge now because everybody ad blocks and nobody contributes. I guess, like, in looking at the clips and everything, it just seems, like, so crazy to me that, like, so much got blown up over, like, a relatively harmless clip where it's, like, the idea that, like, you don't have enough money to sub, like, $5 a month, doesn't seem to be very likely if you're spending, like, time watching Twitch streams. Like, that's probably generally not true. Now, if you don't want to sub, that's fine. Or if you are too lazy to do it, or you just say, fuck it, I'm not going to do it or whatever, that's fine. But to be like, oh, I can't afford it, $5 a month, if you're like watching Twitch streams, it's probably not true in general. I don't think that's that outlandish of a statement to make.
I don't know how you don't understand why the InvaderVie clip got so much backlash. I mean, she wasn't just simply asking people to sub. She was like driving it home and like ranting like, you guys should sub,
Sure, but I mean, like, it was in a response to like a bunch of people saying like, oh, well, what if we don't have the money to sub or whatever, when her stream is marked like 18 plus. I mean, like, you can go back and cherry pick like a ton of clips over the past couple months, even in that same VOD, where she's like, oh yeah, if you don't have the money to sub or whatever, if you're in certain live positions, obviously there are exceptions where you can't do it. Like, the idea that like you present her as like the Wicked Witch of the West who would like demand like homeless subs, beg for for money on the street in order to afford a $5 subscription to a channel, I think is entirely unrealistic. I don't think anybody believes that somebody would actually believe that. So like at the end of the day, it comes off as like a bunch of people virtue signaling on the internet in defense of the viewers who are like, oh yeah, like we don't want homeless people to sub. We don't want people that don't even have followers. Like, well, yeah, of course nobody does. Literally nobody is saying that. Like V included or any other streamer that does calls to actions for subs. I don't know. It feels like a ridiculously virtue signal position to take.
It feels like she's mocking viewers who aren't able to pay, right? She's like talking down to them like, oh, it's $5 a month. Why can't you get $5 a month? If you don't have $5 a month, you probably should get a job. You should probably,
I don't even think that's that controversial of a take. Like, I would say the same shit. If you watch my stream for like 4 or 5 hours a day, every day, and you don't have $5 a month, I'd say like, dude, you need to fucking go to work. What the fuck?
Well, some people, can't because of the pandemic going on right now.
Sure, in this particular case,
off.
yeah, sure, in this particular case, that's true. But again, I don't think that in general somebody would say like, oh, if you're literally unemployed because of the pandemic and you don't have money to feed yourself, that you should pay $5 a month to sub to somebody. I don't think anybody would make that argument. Again, like this is like a virtue signaled argument. Like, do you really think that somebody, V or any other streamer included, be like, oh yeah, if they're literally laid off work and they're trapped at home, they should still pay $5 a month even if they can't afford? Like, no one would say that. Like, it's such an unbrave position to take.
Yeah, which is why it's surprising that she kind of took that position.
I guess, like, the problem is that, like, in general, she doesn't. Like, if you talk to anybody that spent... I don't watch streams in general.
It's about what she said on stream.
It's not. It's about what people like you clip and then push to show, like, how virtuous you are to your viewers, to show how good you are. Like, plenty of people watch her stream, like, and she said plenty of times, like, oh, if people can't sub for this or whatever reason, like, I understand that. But, like, if you find, like, the one clip, the 130-second clip where she's, like, going off on some random viewer...
30 seconds, dude. Like, I listened to the, like, first 20 minutes of her stream where she was doing the entire rant. Like, the whole thing about my YouTube channel is I try to give like every context and I try to not clip stuff out of context, and I gave like every point where she was talking about it. She was ranting about it for a long time and she never clarified what she meant until after the backlash, and then after when she was clarifying on stream.
Wait, so you don't think like 5 minutes after, wasn't she literally saying like, obviously there are exceptions where you can't sub?
No.
Like, I'm pretty sure, and it might have even been 1 minute after the clip where she literally said, like, if you can't afford it, don't subscribe. I'm pretty sure it was literally like a minute after.
Should we bring up the clip so we can see it?
Hold on 1 second.
No, I don't think it's rude of me to say that somebody who can't afford a $5 sub but watches hours of somebody else would be irresponsible with their money. I don't see how. I understand there are definitely exceptions to that. There are extenuating circumstances beyond each individual notice, of course.
Like, she literally says, like, maybe 20 seconds after this, that there are obviously some extenuating circumstances and stuff where you can't afford a sub. She literally says, like, 20 seconds after this.
Okay, let's watch the clip.
Okay, sure. I linked to a VOD, I guess. Just times 2 it. You can go, like, 20 seconds into this. It's like, she literally says it.
Okay, let's watch it together. Can you screen share?
I use 2 computers to stream, so I can't really. But you can go to the start and then set it to times 1 speed, make sure it's, and then we can just watch it together.
If you know where the timestamp is, I could screen share it to you. You just linked it. Okay. Yeah, you just linked it. Let me screen share it. Tell me if you can hear the audio when I do it. Can you hear this?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I don't think that it's rude of me to say that somebody who can't afford a $5 sub but watches hours of somebody else would be irresponsible with their money. I don't see how. I understand there are definitely exceptions to that. There are extenuating circumstances beyond each individual notice, of course.
Yeah, so she like says it like right there.
That there's. She says it right there. Let me listen to that one more time.
Okay.
Reveling in the benefit of somebody else's generosity while absolving yourself of any responsibility. No, I don't think that it's rude of me to say that somebody who can't afford a $5 sub but watches hours of somebody else would be irresponsible with their money. I don't see how. I understand there are definitely exceptions to that. There are extenuating circumstances beyond each individual notice, of course.
Okay. So I guess she did say that, but like early, and I'm pretty sure I did show this part in my video, and I did actually see this part. But like prior, I still don't think it like takes away from the fact that like this whole time she was like, if you watch the entire clip, she was like just banging on about like how if you don't sub, if you don't have money to sub, you're like irresponsible and you know.
So I'm
shit
pretty.
like
So
that.
you can go back and we can watch that clip. But I'm pretty sure the more or less the gist of what she was saying is that if you watch hours of Twitch every day and you don't have $5 a month to put towards a sub, like the priorities in your life are probably fucked. Wait, is that really that controversial of a statement? If somebody is watching hours of like video game streams every day and they don't have an extra $5 a month to their name,
there's other like entertainment stuff that they would prioritize over that. Like a lot of people who watch Twitch are gamers. They would probably pay for a PSN, pay for a Nintendo Switch thing, maybe World of Warcraft. They would pay for a lot of things that actually provide them a service before giving a Twitch sub. And I'm not just talking about like giving one Twitch sub. Like these people probably should afford to give a Twitch sub to like the one streamer that they watch a lot or like a couple of their friends.
Yeah, cool. So then we don't even disagree
money.
then.
But if you're sub to a lot of people, if you have maybe like a lot of Amazon Prime or like Netflix or some actual services and you want to be responsible with your money, you shouldn't like have to pay for a sub. And I feel like a lot of these Twitch streamers feel like entitled to where if one viewer watches them like a lot that they're they should get a sub from them. Like,
sure. So you're making my argument that they can't afford it then, right? Like if you're talking like a PSN subscription, that's like $10 a month. If you've got like a Netflix thing, that's anywhere from like $10 to $20 a month. If you buy like say one game a month, we'll say one game a month, that's like $30 to $60 a month, depending on what you buy, right? So you're spending like, that's only like $70, $80, $90 a month on entertainment. You probably have an extra $5 a month. Now, I'm not saying, to be clear, I'm not saying you have to sub or whatever, but I'm just saying like if you're spending your money on all this shit related to entertainment, chances are you probably have $5 a month to throw at a Twitch streamer. Not that you have to,
people
or that you
have
should.
budgets, dude. Like you can, like sometimes you can't afford the extra $5 and you don't want to sacrifice the other things you're already paying for.
Okay, do you think that it's realistic that there are a lot of people that are playing games, having Netflix, are watching hours of Twitch that are literally at their like end, like exactly budgeted within like $1 of wiggle room, and $92.55 a month is like the exact amount? Like I feel like most people probably have the extra $5 a month. Like it's like
some people are on a tight budget, dude. Like.
Yeah, but I don't think those people on tight budgets have a PlayStation Network subscription, a Netflix subscription, a computer, a monthly internet connection, and watch hours of Twitch.
Yeah, but then there's also, as I said earlier, the people who watch Twitch on mobile with like their plan or whatever. Like,
I don't think you watch.
People...
There's not that many people that watch Twitch on mobile that can afford like that internet.
Well, it's not the vast majority of people, but it's still like an amount of people. And the reason why this clip is getting so much backlash is that people were either in that financial state before and they're not in it now, or they know people who were in that financial state and they sympathize. They don't want streamers to talk down to people because they can't afford a $5 tip.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think there are that many people in this position. It's not entitled.
It is very entitled.
You literally are on your Twitter.
All your frequent viewers to sub to you, like as an obligation to you.
No one says it's an obligation. We literally just watched her say that there are some extenuating circumstances where you can't subscribe.
Yeah, but she's saying if you can sub, you should. It's only $5 a month.
Yeah, if you're watching a streamer, she said if you're watching a streamer for hours, and I think later on in this or earlier in this, she says like, oh, like if I'm helping you get through your workday, blah, blah, blah. If you're watching me for hours, like I think you can throw $5 a month my way. I don't think that's that crazy.
Yeah, you can say that like once, but she was like hammering it in, dude.
Well,
like,
because when you stream, usually when you're talking, people like go back and forth in your chat. That's just the nature of streaming. When you do 8 hours, well, in her case, it's usually like 4 hours of content a day. When you have a conversation, you're probably going to repeat yourself a lot. I do it on my stream a ton too, where I'm going to say the same thing.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to do it in a condescending, like talking down to people way.
Why not? I do, dude. There are plenty of.
What do you mean, why?
Because there are plenty of guy streamers. Have you ever watched XQC? Have you ever watched Destiny? Have you ever watched Asmongold? There are plenty of people that not only make fun of people for subbing, they berate their subs. They tell people that they're lazy or entitled for subbing. Like we do this shit all the time.
They do it in like a more of a humorous way. This is like,
So why can't this be interpreted as a humorous way?
I don't think many people found it humorous. Like, she lost 90K followers from this.
She didn't. That's not true.
Yes, she did.
No,
she lost
that's
80K.
not true.
Look at her social blade. Look at her social blade on Twitch. Her viewers
Wait,
didn't
hold on.
like
Do you
this.
really think that's true? You said you did
Yes.
research for this?
You want to see that? Yeah, you want to look at her social blade right now? I can
Sure.
bring it up.
Okay. Go ahead and look at her social
Her
blade.
own viewers
Yeah.
didn't like this. Okay.
Go ahead and look at her social blade.
Yeah, let's look at her social blade. I'm gonna bring it up. Negative 87,000.
Negative 87,000 viewers. Now look at her followers in the month of March, right below. Notice how
Followers
she
in the month of
gained
March.
like 80,000 followers, 87,000 followers. Notice how she gained about the exact same amount she dropped off. It was just a big bot
Okay.
follow and a bot unfollow. That's it. She didn't lose 90,000 followers.
That's a very convenient bot follow and bot unfollow. That's very convenient.
What is the
Convenient
implication?
timing.
This bot
She
follow was back
lost a
in
bunch
March.
of subs from demanding subs.
Wait, you think she lost subscribers?
Or lost followers. My bad. I'm a YouTuber.
But it
so
doesn't
I'm
look like she lost followers. It looks
She
like
did. She lost 87,000. You expect all of those to be bots, dude?
look at her follow timeline, monthly gained followers, right? It's about anywhere from 2 to 10,000 a month, and then it looks like in March, out of nowhere, she gained like 99,000 followers somehow, and then it looks like a bunch of bot followers dropped off on the 18th. That's what it looks like happened. Like, those are bots, 100%. And if you want to tell, if you really want to tell, you can go to solygnome.com/channel/InvaderVie. Well, let's see if her viewership was impacted. We can look at the past 30 days of her viewership. Oh,
Yeah, let's look at that.
doesn't really look like it was impacted that much. When she does gaming stuff, she usually gets a bit less. It looks like she actually has a few more. Like when she streamed yesterday, she carried anywhere from 700 to 800 concurrent viewers playing games. Normally she carries like 400 to 500, 600, yeah. So it doesn't really look like she lost a ton of viewers.
Are you saying is none of her followers, all of her new followers, none of her followers were upset enough by that clip? to
Probably
stop
not,
watching
because
that?
if you watch a regular amount of her stream, she constantly says, well, obviously, if you can't afford to sub or if you've got extenuating circumstances, you shouldn't. The only people that got super mad at this, ironically enough, are just people that don't even watch her. They're people that just saw the clip, jumped on it, thought they could virtue signal to their audience that if you're homeless and dying of COVID-19, don't subscribe to streamers. Like, those are the only people that seem to care about this.
I'm not virtue signaling. Like, I genuinely think, like, it's an asshole move to, like continuously sub to me, you should sub to me, you have an, like, implying that they have an obligation. Dude, it's like a donation. Be entertaining, and then if you're entertaining enough to where someone wouldn't want to sub to you, that's great, but people don't owe Twitch streamers subs.
She's one of the largest female streamers on the platform, so I'm sure she understands that, right? She must be, whether you hate her or like her, she must be somewhat entertaining, right? Because she's got a lot of viewers for a female streamer. So I mean, she probably understands this, right? Like, also, if you
Then
want,
why did she say that on stream?
because she was arguing with a guy who said that he didn't have the money to sub, which seems weird when the stream is marked 18 plus, and a lot of people watch her for multiple hours a day. It seems strange to say you don't have $5 a month.
Why would you don't take the viewer at face value? You're just like, yeah, you know what? You don't have enough money to sub.
No, of
You
course
should
not.
sub.
Fighting with viewers is one of the funnest parts of streaming. Hell yeah, I love shitting on viewers that say random dumb shit in chat. There's a lot of other streamers that feel the exact same way. Every large streamer does this. Trainwreck does this. Asmongold does this. Pokelulz does this. Hasanabi does this. XQC does. Every other large streamer will pick out. Wreckful used to do this. Mitch Jones says every single large streamer will pick out like dumb comments in chat. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you would say dumb shit and you go a little bit
To the
too
point
far.
where they question their financial situation.
Yeah, of course. That's like
They're saying that this person was saying like, "Oh, I like your stream. I wish I could sub, but I can't."
Yeah, there's tons of shit that you call out in chat, sure. And if the person has a record,
I mean,
like,
if it's a joke, but this person, she genuinely thought that this person just didn't want to sub because they were lazy or whatever. They said they liked her content and wished they could sub.
here's a question. If you say you do a whole bunch of background research, which is a little suspect at this point, but you say you do a whole bunch of background research for this post before you post this stuff, do you ever reach out to the person in question for comment? And why not? Because I know you don't. So why don't you?
I don't, because basically what I do is I just take tweets of what people are saying and just post them and read them out. And I try to give the clips the most benefit of the doubt. And then if they make a statement on their Twitter, they're already getting a lot of backlash. If they make a statement on their Twitter, I will include that as well.
Okay, so you're literally
I'm just
an
so you're like a viewer
content
on
leech
stuff.
aggregate that asks for people to YouTube Red and sub to him. You don't even reach out to the person you're talking about, like, for comment, and then you're just hopping on to like a giant fire,
I
like
do
pouring a
reach
little bit of
out
glass.
to people who follow me and I have open DMs with. I do reach out to them.
So you give the benefit of the doubt to your friends? That's even worse.
What do you mean?
For people that are already following you on Twitter and you have a friendly working relationship
I can
with?
DM them.
But I'm pretty sure like if you were to tweet,
I could tweet at them, but they're already getting like a bunch of backlash from everybody. Like, why would they want to respond to me specifically when everyone's going after them for the same thing? Just me adding me to the pile, is that going to make that much of a difference?
it's possible, yeah. Usually if you're part of media, usually when things like this happen, what happens is you have like a prepared statement or a response you give to media outlets that reach out to you for comment. Yeah, of course. Or you even have a publicist that deals with it for you. This is how media works, literally. Like if you're that's why at the end of every story, if it's a New York Times or Washington Post or NPR, they always write things like, "Oh, like
I'm not a journalist. I just read out tweets on YouTube, dude."
Yeah, I know, but like you literally just admitted that like you'll like make things a little bit biased if they're friends with you, if they already follow you, if you're already talking. You literally just said that.
Admit that.
You just said it.
I said if I have contact with them, maybe I'll ask for their opinion on something. Typically, I don't. They usually make like a Twitter statement and I read it out. Like my videos are more like archives and stuff. I don't know what this has to do with the conversation of, Twitch subs.
Oh, well, I mean, because it's just like a question of like, I'm curious what sometimes what people's motivations are when they report stuff on this. Like, it's pretty clear that you think that
I just like to archive stuff on Twitter because the thing is, a lot of tweets like are all over the place, and people like follow certain YouTubers, but some people just don't have Twitch accounts, or not Twitch, Twitter accounts, and they want to like hear what's going on Twitter, hear the little comments that YouTubers are making. I compile it together, and then people can see what their favorite YouTubers are saying on a given situation.
But they're not seeing that. They're seeing your filtered version of it, presenting your view of reality. You literally just listened 5 seconds after the original clip for what she said about how there are extenuating circumstances.
I'm pretty sure I included that part in my video.
How did you not even remember it then when you're talking about it? Your video must be like a day or two old.
I cover a lot of things. My memory. I cover a lot of things. Sometimes I don't remember. This video was made like 3 days ago.
Okay.
I just think like if you want to sub to someone on Twitch, if someone says, I'm going to sub to you on Twitch, but I don't have the money, here's like, a message instead or whatever, I like your content, and their reaction and stuff, thank you, is, you know what, you should sub. Why don't you have the money to sub? I think that's just, I just don't like that. That's not something I would do, and that's something
but again, like,
should criticize. And to me, it just blows my mind that you think that's like not controversial. Like, what? Do you have some sort of bias with this girl? I feel like you do, especially considering that there's been a lot of other Twitch streamers who've come out with this statement. Like BadBunny was one that happened a couple months ago. I didn't really see you talk, defending her on your stream.
Yeah, I roasted the fuck out of BadBunny on it because BadBunny makes it sound like every single person that watches her should sub to her. And BadBunny says things like she gets mad at her Discord users who are talking on Discord and not watching her at the same time. I think it's a far different statement than somebody saying like, oh, well, if you watch me for hours a week, I don't think that's saying like you don't have money to sub. I don't think that's like a very like reasonable
And hers
statement.
is different just because she said that there's some
extenuating circumstances where you can't sub. Sure. So I think there's like a difference between the two. But I also agreed with BadBunny that if there are
difference, but I mean the message is still pretty condescending. It's pretty similar in my opinion. I just don't know how you don't see that. I feel like there is some sort of bias going on, which is why I made that tweet saying that you're probably biased due to your relations with her.
Okay, so you think that I'm biased towards InvaderVie because of my relations with her?
Maybe. It's a guess. It's an educated guess.
You know that I've had relations with BadBunny too, right?
No, I did not.
Okay,
know that.
well, so that kind of completely and totally torpedoes that entire argument.
Okay,
also,
okay,
I don't think anything
that
I've said here, I don't think any of it has had anything to do with like, oh, I really like this person, so here's the argument. I don't think I've brought up a personal relationship with her, although you have brought up your personal relationship, saying that you give the benefit of the doubt to your friends, and if people follow you on Twitter...
I give them benefit of the doubt. I said I might reach out to them if I have open DMs. I don't typically do that. I just see tweets, I screenshot it, I read it out in the most objective way that I can. Like, I get sides from everybody, people against the person, people with the person. I try to get as much as I can, and I put it in the video, and it's pretty objective. I don't really, bring my own opinion into it that often. Maybe one comment here or there. So my whole channel is about being a bit as objective as possible and just showing what's up. But yeah, in my opinion, I think that it's, Twitch streamers are not entitled to get a sub from their viewers.
Of
every
course,
month.
no one
And
disagrees with
not
that.
everyone can afford it, dude.
No one
Literally not
disagrees
everyone
with
can
that
afford it.
either. These are both very brave statements.
Then why are you?
But like, even in the
why
transcript
are
for
you,
what
like,
she's saying,
defending this person so adamantly to the point where you called your viewer a a dipshit retard for saying something that isn't even necessarily untrue.
first of all, I would never call my viewers retarded. I would call them inbred dipshit fuckwads though, because I call my viewers names all the time when they say dumb shit. Because that's the relationship I have with my viewers. If you watch my stream, you would know that. I call my viewers names all the time. But like, the two statements you just made, like, oh, well, you don't have to sub, blah, 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 literally nobody disagrees. Even in that own, I linked you a pastebin. Even in her own video, in the own stuff that you supposedly read and researched, she literally said it. You don't have to sub. You can watch without supporting it. Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
the attitude that I'm highlighting.
What?
The attitude. I feel like she exudes this attitude where she feels like most people should sub. You said most people should sub.
I never said that. Oh, I never said that. I said that it's like probably.
If they're watching for a certain amount of hours.
I said you almost certainly have the money to. Now, whether or not you should or shouldn't, that's a totally different argument. It's a much more complicated argument. But like I'm saying.
Yeah, but what InvaderVie is saying is that you should.
Yeah, and I think there are good arguments to be made for that. That's a separate conversation that I don't feel like having right now. But I mean, like, regardless, she's literally said multiple times that if you can't afford it or you're not able to do it, you don't have to, which was the main point of disagreement, is that you think she's saying that even if you can't afford it or regardless of your circumstances, you should subscribe. She literally exactly doesn't say that. She says the exact opposite.
She's saying, it's $5 a month. You should have $5 a month. And she's basically saying that most people should be able to sub to her if they watch her.
Yeah, I think it's generally fair that most people watching Twitch, the only like official survey studies thing or whatever that I saw says that like the average Twitch viewer watches 90 minutes of Twitch a day and comes from a household that earns $120,000 a year. That's like the average Twitch viewer. Now, obviously there are going to be poorer people than that, but I think on average, if you're watching multiple hours of Twitch streams a day, you probably have $5 a month to sub to them. Like, I think that's a fair statement.
Some people don't, and this one person who asked her said that they don't have the money, and a lot of people actually don't have the money right now because of the coronavirus, and someone specifically said to her, it's toxic that you're saying this during the coronavirus pandemic, and she's like, no, I don't think it's toxic. I think you should still be able to donate $5 a month, even though you probably should be like, conservative with your money considering the circumstances. And I think that's like extremely out of line.
Did you ever try reaching out to that Twitch viewer or send him a DM to see if he had a comment on it?
Dude, like, with my video, I made it to showcase people's Twitter reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw your clip where you were calling your viewers stupid for saying that, the no home internet or whatever. And I basically pointed out and saying it's ridiculous. I'm not doing like a whole 30-minute video dissecting the exact the entire drama in depth on InvaderVie. I'm just saying my opinion, dude. And I feel like it's not extreme to say that her saying that you should sub even during this pandemic and that is not toxic to say that. It's controversial. Like it's clearly controversial, and I don't understand how you don't see that.
Because she literally says the opposite multiple times.
No, but
you don't have to. Wait, can you not read this? You don't have to sub to me. You absolutely don't. You don't have to sub. You can just watch without supporting it. Absolutely, absolutely.
She said that in a very condescending, sarcastic way.
Okay. I can agree that there's issues with her tone. Like if you want to say that maybe she sounds a little harsh when she's saying it, I agree with that. But I don't know, just all the super brave statements about how oh well, if you got COVID-19 and you got laid off, don't stop. I don't think anybody realistically disagrees with that. But okay. Do you have any other
No, this was a pretty good discussion. I'm glad you had me on to talk about this, and yeah, I hope you have a good day, dude.
All right. Well, good luck with your stuff, mate.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. Good job. We did it, boys. Why would you show the clip? Why not just lie? You just told me she subs to one of the... You just defeated your own argument. So we're done with that. Tommy, what else do you want to...